Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. I am so excited to talk about mermaids.
Oh,
Um, I'm so excited. Obviously, Corp brought it to my attention that this is Mermaid month, and to talk about mermaids, I completely butchered that. Classic me. But I'm so excited to have the King of Lore here and my girl Disney Sims to talk about mermaids. Thank you both so much for coming here today.
happy.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm so excited to learn more about mermaids because my literal knowledge is what I found on Google today. Because it is there's like it's not talked about. I truly forget that it's an occult until I have to name down the list. I'm like, oh fuck, there is mermaids. Um, but anyways, before we dive in, Gonz, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Gonz. I am a certified lore nerd. I spend most of my time making shorts and long form videos about everything there is to know about the history of The Sims. And yeah, that's just kind of my thing. Also the rainbow colored hair guy apparently because I change my hair color every other day. I'm currently in green. I was pink a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know. I've been thinking about what the next color is going to be. So yeah,
Have you done? I know you've done purple. What about
yeah.
red?
I haven't done red yet. I'm nervous that I'll look too much like Caleb. Like I'll just look too much like Caleb, and people will get confused and be like, "Is that a Caleb Vitor cosplay?" And I'm
Uh,
not sure how people are going to be able to handle that. So
what about blue?
it was blue, and then the dye goes
Okay.
away and it becomes green. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what dye are you using?
So I usually go to like a professional salon, but in the interim, I tend to use like Splat or whatever from like Walmart and stuff like that. Like I use just like, yeah, you've never heard of Splat?
No, of course I've heard of Splat. That's like manic fucking petty. I'm like, what are you, 10? Do yourself a favor, go on
uh,
Brad Mondo's website and
oh
do
God, Bread
that.
Mondo. Okay,
And
got it,
like
got it, got it.
honestly, he has the best dip dye, like any
Sure.
like semi-permanent dye you can get.
Okay.
And you don't need any bonding treatment. It's literally in one bottle. I'm
Oh, love
just
that.
saying.
I'll
I'm
check that out. I'm a big fan of Bread Mondo, so I'll definitely check that out.
See, there you go. Look at that. You're teaching me mermaid knowledge. I'm teaching you how to dye your hair. You are welcome. Court, welcome back for the 69th time.
Giggity.
Damn.
All right. Court, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and your
Um,
ancestry?
well, my name's Court, and actually, I've never dyed my hair before. It's virgin hair. So,
Really?
yeah.
Like never? Like never, ever, ever. No highlights? No nothing.
Back when I was 20, I got like one strand underneath dot, like I bleached it and then I dyed it purple.
I love
Oh
that for
gosh.
you. I love that. Honestly, you have like the most beautiful hair. Like it doesn't need to be
I
dyed.
know I talked about dyeing it before, and then my mom was like, never, you have the most beautiful hair. You can't do that. And I was just like, okay. And then I never wanted to disappoint her. And all right,
I
we're
I
talking
want
about
to
this,
I want to
right?
hold on. No, I want to point out for just like a hot second that Stassi, you said you have the most beautiful hair, and Court's response was, "I know." I just want to put that on record. Like that was that was
Okay.
the.
I'm a girl's girl here, and we comment on hair.
Yeah.
We're in no judgment zone here. Honestly, you can even have your hair up, and I'm okay with it. I'm just saying.
There's always a judgment zone if Gonz is
Oh God, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
Honestly, I'm so excited. I'm going to the hair salon next Saturday, getting rid of this disgusting mud color and going back to the blonde that I must need to be. I cannot wait. I
I
cannot
love
wait.
that. I love that. I'm excited.
Is
Yes.
this a ad stream? Like, what is this?
Guys, we're actually here to talk about mermaids. You can just fucking skip. It's been a minute since the three of us chat, or two of us chatted. Or fuck, I can't
This
even count anymore. Three of us, I
Yeah,
guess, are even
exactly.
chatting.
But this is on brand because the whole mermaid thing in The Sims 4 is having that look, that extravagance. So we're totally on brand at the moment.
Exactly. Got to have that fashion color in your hair.
Exactly.
Anyways, Gons, take us away. Teach us about mermaids.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked a little bit about it before we started recording, but mermaids in the Sims was a fairly brand new addition that was added, and it's hilarious because the common perception about mermaids, especially in The Sims 4, is that it's underutilized. It's not really well adapted. Like it's not as lore heavy as like the werewolves and the vampires and everything like that. And that's 100% true. I want to state that for the record. That is absolutely true. But it's kind of always been like that, right? So like in The Sims 3, we were introduced into mermaids with the expansion Island Paradise, right? And it was the same
Island
thing.
Living. Oh, Island Paradise.
No, Island. You see, she loves correcting me, and she's always wrong, which is what I love that. No, so yes, Island Paradise for The Sims 3. Thank you very much. You could become a mermaid in The Sims 3 by eating, mermatic kelp. Which you could only get if you were friends with a mermaid, or, and this is the best thing about The Sims 3 ever, if you asked a mermaid about their fish parts. That's actually 100% accurate how you do that in The Sims 3. You actually go up to them and you're like, hey, so talk to me about your fish parts, and then they give you some kelp, which I love. I love that, right? But in any case, in The Sims 3, mermaids basically, you get that fancy tail. You can swim faster. You can dive. That was one of the features of Island Paradise. And you can also go to like these cool islands. But perhaps one of the most memorable things about The Sims 3 Mermaids was that you can summon sharks. Like you could actually summon sharks to like attack and like bother people and stuff like that, which I thought was like super cool about that at the time. And ironically, in The Sims 3, it was considered a temporary life state. And what I mean by that is that if you didn't regularly stay hydrated, which was either swimming, taking baths, or drinking water, you could basically lose your mermaid powers. Like they would go away, right? Like if you didn't regularly stay in water, that would occur. Which kind of reminds me, do you guys remember that one movie by Tom Hanks with the mermaid, like really early in his career?
Oh, yes. Oh my God, what was so called though? It was so good.
Hold on. It was a Disney movie, actually. It was called Splashed, wasn't it?
Oh
Splash.
my God, Splash.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, yes.
Where I say that because he would keep her in like in the bathtub. Remember that? Like that's how that she would, yeah. And that kind of reminds me of a mermaid as well. But everything I just told you about like Sims 3 and mermaids, that's basically everything. There wasn't any like particularly famous townie or housed townie that was a mermaid in that game. There was only 4 that existed in the actual world in Island Paradise. And all of them, like almost all of them, I should say, were like a reference to the Little Mermaid, right? There was one called Mia, who her description says that she lost her voice. Like she used to be a great singer and now she just plays like the violin or something like that. There's a character straight up called Ariel in The Sims 3 that goes without saying. There's also another mermaid called Triton King, who's your typical Kyle Carlson but without a shirt and a mermaid tail. And yeah, that was basically the general like like Easter eggs about mermaids. We didn't really get anything as far as like lore or like background story or anything about mermaids or how they came to be within The Sims 3. It was almost just like this little addendum that we were added to Island Paradise that kind of gave us some feeling about that, but apparently it stuck because people freaking loved the mermaids, right? Like they loved it in The Sims 3. They thought it was some of the coolest things that they had. So naturally, when we started getting occults in the Sims 4, people started begging for mermaids within the Sims 4, right? Which we ultimately got in Island Living. So we got Sulani and mermaids, and it's hard to talk about mermaids without actually talking about Sulani, right? Sulani is such a memorable, it's like a fan favorite. Like if you were to say like the top 2 worlds in The Sims 4, it's San Myshuno and Sulani. I think that's fair to say. Like those are like the top 2 for people.
And you could build on water for the first time.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
like, the foundation to match that. It was, I remember when that pack came out, I was so
Yeah, it's a beautiful pack, and it was obviously Polynesian themed. If you ask me, I would say it's Hawaiian, but I'm sure there are people who are Polynesian who would argue that it's more, you know, the greater islands and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
it's a beautiful world, and we learn a lot about these concepts of like spirits and elementals within Sulani, right? There's a giant mountain, or volcano, I should say, in the middle of Sulani, where like you have a lot of kind of history of the protection of the islands themselves. And one of the features of Sulani is that the better you take care of the island, the more aspects you give to the island, the greener, the more lush the actual island is, right? It's one of those features of Sulani itself, yeah? And of course, we got mermaids, right? And in The Sims 4, the mermaids of island living are basically almost exactly the same as The Sims 3, right? The idea is you have a tail and you get it by eating mermatic kelp. Unfortunately, you cannot ask Sims about their fish parts in The Sims 4. I guess that's from a bygone era. We just don't have that anymore, right? But you do have the ability to make friends and acquire mermatic kelp, right? However, one of the unique things about The Sims 4 is that you could actually make a mermaid by default in CAS, right? Before that wasn't an option in The Sims 3. You actually had to go out and get it, which I want to say, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't think you can select the cult by default in The Sims 3. I might be wrong. Maybe someone in your comments could tell me otherwise, but I don't think you could just choose like spellcaster or vampire or something like that from Sims 3 CAS. I'm actually not sure if I can remember that well enough, you know?
I don't think you can. I think
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, it was just an aspect that you had to like go out and play the game to do that, right?
Yeah.
Imagine, right? But yeah, so in The Sims 4, mermaids, same deal. You could swim faster, you could dive longer. But I'm going to say this, and I really think we need to talk about it. A lot of people don't know that while the mermaids are very restricted in that they're not a really fleshed out occult, there's a lot of stuff about them that people don't know that you can utilize them for, right? So mermaids have a concept of like hydration points, which basically, you know, how much like if you know how much water you intake and stuff like that, you get a certain amount of points. And with those points, you can do things like control the weather. So mermaids can actually make it rain, make it stop raining, make it thunder, make it windy. Like they actually have that power as long as they're in the water. They can remove certain debuffs from your sim. So like if you're feeling bad or if you're feeling tired, they can actually remove that as well. They also have siren-like abilities, so you can actually lure Sims into the water and suck out their needs. Like you can actually consume like happiness or like hunger and stuff like that from them, which again, a lot of people don't know that. You can also hurt other Sims by what's called an ocean threat, so you can actually just cause them to like lose their needs. You can make fishing easier by making fish appear more often. And then perhaps the one that everybody knows about is that you can actually speak to dolphins as a mermaid in The Sims 4, which I thought was super cool. Love to see that. But again, those are little things that you can do with mermaids that a lot of people don't actually know about, because more often than not, you just kind of jump into the water, your tail comes out, and you're like, oh, that's cool, but like I wonder what else, right? It's been said that you could actually play a mermaid 100% of the time in water. Like you could actually play the whole game as a mermaid in the water without ever leaving. So mermaids can sleep in water, right? They can actually go to bed in the water. They can use the bathroom in the water. I mean, every sim can, right? But naturally, mermaids can too. You can eat like, you know, in the water itself. Like there should be a challenge. All right, I'm going to put that into the ether. Someone should make the mermaid challenge where you cannot leave the water and like play for like a month. I'm just going to put that out there because that sounds like a whole lot of fun that I've never really tried before, right? But yeah, and then obviously they can talk to fish and stuff like that, right? Now, let's talk a little bit about the townies, right? This is where we're going to get into an argument. So The Sims 4 has 4 Sims that are mermaids canonically within the game, right? Although I will say there is a 5th one that Court and I had a discussion about that is in the gallery, right? So we're going to talk all about the fifth gallery mermaid. But just like The Sims 3, there are four. And they have actually a ton of backstory. And this is ironic, Stassi, because Court and I were talking earlier and we were discussing how we're going to butcher these names. And Court was like, oh, Gonz, it's going to be fine because you know how to say these. I don't know how to say these. So it's going to be actually really funny that we're going to attempt this, and it's going to be really fun. So let's talk a little bit about the four mermaids that you can find throughout Sulani, right? So the first one is Kalamainu Yona. So I wish I could like show you guys how this is spelled, but it's Kalamainu Yona. Okay. They are that name, Kalamainu, is a lizard goddess from Hawaiian mythology who's considered to be like mischievous and evil. It was a goddess that like locked away their partner in like a prison for X amount of time and things like that, which aligns perfectly with Kalamainu, the mermaid, because they have the mean trait, the dastardly trait, and they actually want to be chief of mischief, right? So they're generally a bad sim. You know, they want to like, you know, that they're following in that general belief structure or whatever. Then we have Pakauha. And again, Paka is the god of wind and the inventor of the sail in the Hawaiian mythology. But I actually wanted to talk a little bit about Paka. Now, I recommend everybody who's listening to this podcast to go out and actually search Pakauha on the Sims wiki if you don't know the sim I'm talking to, because I believe that they're kind of the Sims 4's first forays or the first steps into a trans character, right? Because Paka is masculine. They identify as he, him. You look at the character and you can tell that they have masculine qualities, but they have a feminine frame and they have feminine hair, and their mermaid form is very much a feminine mermaid form. What's up, Court? Talk to me.
I think Morgan Ember would have been before Island Living.
Realm of Magic, I believe came out after the fact. Yeah, I want to say it's the 8th game pack for The Sims 4, and Island Living. And let's see.
I don't know. I think I'm right.
You always do.
I know.
Let's just confirm it because this is an important topic to discuss.
Actually, while you're looking that up, I feel like you missed a few things here.
Talk to me, please. Yeah,
okay, so fun fact about genetics. So
yeah.
if a merfolk mates with somebody who's not a mermaid or a merman or merfolk, there's a 50% chance that the child will be a mermaid. Whereas if both of them are merfolk, then there's 100% chance that they'll be a mermaid.
Wow.
When it rains, mermaids don't need umbrellas, and it increases their hydration simultaneously as it's raining.
Cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool too. And then actually the summon ocean threat, mermaids sing that, and the animation is a black mass appears, and if it's done repetitively, it could cause the sim to drown.
Yeah, mermaids are kind of killer for sure. I love that.
Dag.
Okay, so just as an FYI, Realm of Magic came out in August 20th, 2019, and Island Living came out in June 8th, 2019. So Island Living was first. Sorry.
Oh, right. I'm so bad.
Yes, but anyway, so there is no, there obviously this was before we had like a lot of the trans characters, the NB characters that came out. But Pakauha very much seems to be a trans character, presumably, right? We don't know for sure, but amazing sim to play, right? The next one we had was Ukapanipo. Ukapanipo Hekaekia, right? So I'm gonna just call him Uku. All right. So their name comes from a shark deity in Hawaiian mythology. who was known to control the amount of fish that would come to an island, right? So like if there was a small harvest, like they weren't able to get enough fish, then Uku was responsible for that, right? Which again, this very much is in play for the character, because their mermaid form is very like sharkish, very sharp, very aggressive. And they actually have the gluttony trait, which also reflects that connection to the shark deity as well, right? So that leads us to the fourth and perhaps the most famous mermaid townie in the entire game, and that's Nalani Maya, right? Absolutely the most famous, right? As soon as I say Nalani, everyone knows about her. It just appears in your head. You know what I'm talking about. Again, most famously known for being voiced by the Moana actress herself, Ali Cravajo, which is, I thought, was an amazing fact, that she actually did the voice of Nalani. Her name means heaven, so Nalani means heaven or calm skies, and Mahiai means farmer. So her name basically means like gatherer of calm skies, right? Which I thought was very, very, very cool. She's also just apropos of nothing, she's like always my preferred like wife in the game. Like if I can find Nalani, I she's the one I go for almost always. Like that's just my thing, right? All you Caleb fans can get away from me with that, all right? Nalani is the waifu supreme, all right? Just saying on that one, right? But that, so as far as, oh sorry, Court, do you want to talk about the fifth mermaid since we had all this discussion?
Yeah, so before this podcast, Gonz and I got into a huge fight, and I think I'm fired now. Anyway, yeah, so basically, this character comes from the Making a Splash household that you can find on the Maxis Gallery. The 5 members represent different people in the community. Penina Vasa is the mermaid within there. The name means ocean spiral. She gets along with everyone, and it seems like she's trying to bridge the gap between the humans and the mermaids. And she has the soulmate aspiration. Now, here's the argument that we have, is that Gonz says that because they're from the Maxis Gallery, they're not canon, and that's not accurate, because a good example of this are the original spellcaster sages. So Kesha Hughes, Tess Dyer, Ethan Reyes from Realm of Magic, they're from the gallery. So are you saying they're not canon either?
So yes. So think about it like this, right? All of the mermaids in The Sims 4 are homeless. They're not townies, they're wandering townies, right? So I ask myself, why couldn't they have the fifth mermaid be a homeless townie as well? Why were they added to the gallery rather than being placed in game, right? And the same conversation goes with quite a few. So even as early as businesses and hobbies, you had some Sims that were wandering townies, right? Very like lore heavy townies that are wandering townies within businesses and hobbies. And then you have some gallery editions, right? And I maintain, and this is my position that I hold, and again, everyone can have their own opinion, but my opinion is that the gallery, as far as like strict canon, is not canonical to the game, because Maxis chooses not to place them in game for a reason. Now, why that reason is, we can only speculate. But that is truly my belief, is that if they were meant to be official to the story, they would be placed in the world. So that's my bit.
Well, you can be wrong.
Yeah.
Yes. So outside of that, right? Everything else, and this is a very common conversation that comes up about mermaids, is that, oh, there's not enough, right? There's not enough lore, there's not enough story, there's just, they're not very fleshed out. But there is some evidence kind of, sprinkled across the game about what exactly mermaids are, right? So again, what we're going to discuss for a little bit here isn't official. Like there's no like written record that this is what they meant. But we're just going to make kind of assertions about what it could be, right? So in the Sulani lore, there is a trait called Child of the Islands, right? And in Child of the Islands, you have the ability to see the spirits and the elementals across Sulani, right? So for those of you who have ever used that trait, you have the ability, like you'll just be walking around and you'll see like these spirits kind of floating in the air, and it tells you a little bit about how they're feeling, or how you're treating the island, right? I believe that the mermaids themselves have a parallel role to the elementals across Sulani. That the mermaids are very much like descendants or allies of these spirits, that are the protectors of Sulani, right? There's indications of that, especially by their ability to manipulate the environment, of their ability to, master the strength of water. It very much gives the impression that the mermaids are effectively the keepers of Sulani, right? It's unfortunate that they didn't expand more on that. That didn't make that a little bit more official, right? In fact, there's like a chieftain household in Sulani of like the people who are like actually running the village. It was disappointing to learn that like one of them wasn't a mermaid, right? Make that connection a little bit stronger, but that is the role that they take within Sulani, and I think it's pretty clear that that's what they do, right? But I'd love to see more out of them. They revamped Ghosts with Life and Death, and I really hope that one day, whether you're going to hear this in the comments a lot, like refreshes, right? I don't think we're ever going to see pack refreshes. That just fiscally doesn't make any sense for EA to do. Like, how do you get money like that, right? So instead, I eventually see that if they ever do like an occult pack, that they might go in and like fix mermaids at the same time. Like they'll just update them to have skill traits and be different types of have different powers and stuff like that, which I would really love to see, and expand a little bit more on lore, right? Yeah. And before I keep going though, Court, did you have anything to add on that?
No, I think maybe to add just a little bit, their resentfulness towards humans polluting the island, I think, is so really shows that they care and they're resentful of humans. And I think that's maybe why two of the merfolk have such an issue with them and want actively try to make them drown or however.
No, it's absolutely true. Exactly. There's definitely like an environmental message as far as Sulani is concerned. And I think it absolutely is the point that they were trying to come across. It was a little disappointing to me that, and I suppose you can argue that as far as the cults are concerned, there's no denying that the bulk of the lore that we got was in the werewolf pack. Like the werewolf pack told us so much about vampires, werewolves, and spellcasters, but now. And please correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to make assumptions, but do we know if James Turner actually wrote the lore or just built the houses of Moonwood Mill? Do we know that off the top of our head?
I thought it was just building, but I could be wrong.
I thought the same.
Yeah, I thought so too, because I know that he did like the whole thing, but it's interesting that is the singular pack that has so much lore built into it. And we've never really seen that happen again to that capacity, right? And it's surprising because you can put so much lore into something without actually affecting the game. Like little things like books, build by objects with lore expanded on it, interactions within the world itself, like little things that I feel wouldn't have taken too much development time to expand on the lore of Sulani, to expand on the lore of the world itself. I feel like could have gone a long way to make players feel like there was more happening, and they've learned from that. Like EA has learned from that, right? Businesses and Hobbies is packed with lore. Life and Death is packed with lore. and I'm sure the next upcoming pack will have that as well. But um, it's unfortunate that at the end of this particular podcast, we have to say that we just don't know a whole lot. That was all they gave us was what we've talked about today. So
See,
yeah,
I do have one question. I know you said
yeah,
no pack refreshes, but we
yes.
are seeing that they've gone in and kind of refreshed a lot of the covers, which
Hmm.
did eventually did speculate that there would be some pack refreshes, especially to the
Hmm.
older packs.
Yep.
Gons, I'm giving you the keys to the castle. How are you pack refreshing mermaids?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I'll do is I will give them the same frame that ghosts and vampires and werewolves have, where they will have branching skill trees. So, for example, you could have like the siren's call, like a mischievous route,
Mhm.
where you get skills that make you do evil things or bad things to people. Or you could have like the protector of Sulani path, where you're able to do good things, like you're able to make people happier, you're able to, fulfill needs, things like that, right? And then of course have like a basic mermaid skill tree of just things like diving, swimming faster, things like that, right? I would also make it so that your actual mermaid form is something that you can just quickly move into in any capacity. So to give you an example, like within The Sims 4, you can actually turn into your mermaid form while you're taking a bath,
Hmm.
right? So like basically anytime you like I would make it more interactive. Like anytime you touched water or something like that, I would make it so that some form of your mermaid form appeared. Like being able to be in your mermaid form without the tail would be great. Like if you could just sport like the makeup and the hair and everything like that, I think would be a lot of fun so that you're not just a regular person when you're outside of the water, right? Um I would also give them a little bit more of like an air of secretive aspects to them. So one thing that we didn't talk about, but I want to talk about now, is that if you go in Sulani and you ask any of the Sims that we've talked about if they are a mermaid, they'll just be like, "No, of course not," and then they'll walk away. Like they won't actually tell you anything. However, if you blow a conch shell near them, it'll actually reveal that they're mermaids,
Hmm.
right? So I think that it would have been cooler. Like I would have made a lot more townies in the game mermaids to indicate that Sulani was like covered by mermaids. Like everyone was
Oh.
like mermaids. Like mermaids were an integral part of Sulani. Like if you were in Sulani, you were mermaids. Like it's crazy to me that in the entire island there's only four of them. And they're not even part of a household, you know? Like that kind of blew my mind a little bit. So that's really how I would expand on that. And of course, I would refresh by adding, lore books, interactions across the world, like we've talked about. Like I would just make it a lot more um, interactive in that front, right? So also, and correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. Can kids be mermaids in the Sims? Like, can you turn into a mermaid form as a kid?
I don't know. I've never tried.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried that either. I don't. I'm actually curious now. I'll do that. I'll do that on stream at some point. But
I'm pretty sure you can't.
yeah, correct. So I'm pretty certain about that as well. But I would also make it so that as a kid you can be a mermaid, right? Like you have the ability to like bring out your tail and stuff like that. Like that would be another important aspect that I would give.
I could not agree more. Court, is there anything you would want to add?
No, I think that's great.
See, the only thing I would want to add is more siren makeup, more siren cast,
Yes.
more of
Yeah.
the darker side of
Yeah.
mermaids.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, Stasi. That you bring up a great point. Like I think like the fact that the only fish part of you is the tail is kind of criminal. Like having like being able to have like the elf ears, like the big webbed ears,
Hmm.
or
So,
having like nails that like long protruding hands and stuff like that. That would be amazing. Like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
that's a really good idea.
thank you. See, I came somewhat prepared. Um, but thank you, Gons and Court, for coming
Mhm.
here today talking about mermaids.
Of
Honestly,
course.
I learned so much. The only ever times I've ever played with mermaids is when I first got the pack, and I was like, I want to be a mermaid, and I was like, okay, but like, what else?
so excited to make Ariel, and
Yeah.
her and Eric are by far my most downloaded on my gallery Disney characters. Eric is so many people's baby daddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved making Ariel. And then, yeah, I spent so much time testing what they could do. And I actually found out that if you have like a good trait with them, you're limited versus if you don't, like you can do more stuff or less stuff depending on how evil or good you are to a certain extent, but it's mostly just around being able to injure other Sims or help them.
For sure.
For sure. Well, thank you both for coming here today. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, Gonz. I appreciate it. So does the audience. They love learning more about The Sims. But Gonz, where can we find you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch at Mynameisgonz.
Fantastic. Disney Sims, where can we find you?
You can find me at the Disney Sims.
I love that. Well, the links are going to be below. Please go check out My Name is Gonz and the Disney Sims. And I do just want to take a quick minute and thank Gonz for allowing me to be part of his Builder series, Renovate or Relocate. I very much enjoyed building that restaurant. So thank you for letting me be part of your series.
Oh,
Of
I
course, I
love
loved
the
it.
lore within that too, making
Yes.
so
Yeah, it was a ton
good.
of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that because I was like, I didn't know what you would do with it. I was just like, here you go. And like, so there was God didn't ask me to do anything. Like I just said, he just gave me free reign, and I was like, this, and I was like, this was absolutely incredible. So thank you, thank you for letting me be
It was
part
really
of that
fun
series.
filming it too.
Yeah, it was. It was good times.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, thank you so much, Gonz and Disney,
Mhm.
for showing us so much more about mermaids. Honestly, it's making me inspired that I might actually go back and attempt to play mermaids again.
Mermay.
Yeah, exactly, Mermay.
Exactly.
I can't believe we're almost going into June. Where's this year gone? Where's this year
Just
gone?
we're slamming through it. Just
I
three
know.
3.5 more years and then we're good.
Oh fuck. Yeah, at least we're like me and Court, we're fine.
Yeah, you guys are good for
Yeah,
now. For now.
we sorted it out. Yeah, for now. Anyway, thank you both for so much for coming here today. Links are gonna be below. If you listen to this podcast, please consider subscribing so you never miss an episode. If you like what I do, please go follow me on Instagram. It's SaucyJSims4, where I post Sims content sometimes. I'm also one of the resident podcasts at the Gamers, so please stay tuned when I post what I'm doing there. It's normally 1 or 2 Thursdays a month, where I sit and talk to amazing gamers around the world talking about their experiences gaming in the industry. So thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in today. Please go enjoy Mermaids, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.
Bye bye.